This is a Kelly's Angels production. Hi everyone, I'm Mark Mulholland, and welcome to The Upbeat, a podcast about perseverance and hope from Kelly's Angels. This is a show for anyone who knows what it's like to face loss and adversity. It's all about getting through grief and rediscovering joy in life. Thank you for listening.
The Upbeat is made possible by the generosity of our sponsors. Special thanks to our media partner, 32 Mile Productions. This episode of The Upbeat is sponsored by the Boebert Family Fund, Glens Falls Hospital, BN Communications, and Mohawk Honda.
Our guest now on The Upbeat is Kristin Hansen, who lost her husband Keith about a decade ago to multiple myeloma. Kristin has endured a lot over the past decade, and she joins us now on The Upbeat. Welcome, Kristin.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I have two daughters. Samantha is 16 and Caitlin 14. We lost my husband, their father. It'll be 10 years in March, to multiple myeloma, and started with some back pain and pneumonia is what they diagnosed him with. And, you know, after about a month and a half back and forth to the hospital, they finally gave him a diagnosis of multiple myeloma. So, of course, you know, you Google,
Right.
you know, life expectancy 2 to 5 years. People, less than 4% of people that get this cancer are under the age of 65.
Less than
4% at
He
that
was what
time.
age?
35. I remember what I was wearing the day he was diagnosed, which was a Thursday. In 2006, I was 5 months pregnant with Caitlin. Sammy had just turned 2, actually. I remember walking down the hallway at St. Mary's Hospital. Everybody that was in the beds were all 70, 80 years old. And here I am 5 months pregnant, so I'm huge. And I'm like, what are we doing here? We're 35 years old. Like, we should not be on this unit.
You remembered the day of the week.
Oh, yeah, I remember everything. Yeah.
Why do you suppose you remember it?
It was traumatizing. It was absolutely traumatizing. We were just starting our lives. You know, we were 35 years old, been married for just 5 years. We just bought a house, had a 2-year-old, getting ready to have our second child.
It's not supposed to be
American
that way.
dream. We were finally living the American dream, and I just got crushed in one word.
And you cared for him at home?
Yes, the whole time. His mom or my mom would stay with us at the beginning because I still had to work.
And you had to work, you were pregnant and had to work.
And I had to work and I had
and
a
then you
2-year-old.
had a newborn and
Right.
a 2-year-old.
Right. So I worked, they stayed with us for the first, he was diagnosed in August 24th. I had Caitlin in November. At that point, he said, can the moms please go home? Like, I'm tired of having people in our house.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, but now's when I need them.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But at the same time, it wasn't about me.
Did you get any sleep?
No, not really.
Your head hits the pillow thinking about what you have to do next.
Right. And, you know, and then it's either one of the kids waking me up or him waking me up. That was, you know, the whole time.
He passed in March. It'll be 10 years, you said, in March.
March 26th, yeah.
You remember the date, of course.
Of course.
What'd you feel then? I mean, you had some time to prepare for it. But are you ever fully prepared?
We came home on hospice for a week. I remember, and I don't think I've ever said this out loud, I remember part of me saying, he's going to be able to rest finally. And you know, that's horrible to say, but for 4.5 years, he suffered. And he fought for us.
Yeah.
You know, if it wasn't for me and the girls, I don't think he would have lasted 4.5 years, but he fought to be there for me and the kids. And I believed that. But it wasn't, I mean, there's just nothing. He needed to rest.
How long before you were able to take a breath? Have you been able to now?
I was just going to say, honestly, I don't even know. Honestly, a lot of it is a blur. I mean, it's so weird, but I don't remember, and this is sad to say, I don't remember much about those years with the kids.
I can relate to that so much.
Yeah?
Because you were on the run so
Yeah.
much. It's a blur. I've said that to friends all the time, that those first few years are a blur. I know I got stuff done.
Right.
Because I was always running to get stuff done.
Yeah.
But it's a blur is the way I describe it
I
too.
feel like I existed. Like,
Yes.
if I got up, went to work, remembered to pick the kids up from daycare,
Yeah.
got home, they did their homework or whatever, made dinner, and they went to bed, it was a win. I
Yes.
made it today.
Yes.
Support for The Upbeat comes from 32 Mile Productions, a full-service video production agency that specializes in uncovering stories to create meaningful content that is compelling and memorable. Learn more at 32mile.com. The Boebert Family Fund, which supports charitable organizations that efficiently use the resources they have to make a disproportionate impact on the world around them. Glens Falls Hospital, an affiliate of the Albany Med Health System. Glens Falls Hospital is an award-winning community hospital providing access to exceptional, affordable, and patient-centered care to residents across a 5-county region of upstate New York. Learn more at glensfallshospital.org. BN Communications, which provides strategic counsel in public relations, crisis communications, community relations, public affairs, and corporate communications to clients across several industry sectors and across the U.S. Learn more at bncommunications.com. Mohawk Honda is a family-owned car dealership serving New York's capital region. Beyond selling new and used Honda vehicles and providing high-quality auto service and parts, Mohawk Honda has an unwavering commitment to the community it serves. Learn more at mohawkhonda.com.
Hi, I'm Mark Mulholland, and you're listening to The Upbeat, a podcast about perseverance and hope from Kelly's Angels. I recently sat down with Kristin Hansen of Clifton Park, New York, who lost her husband Keith to cancer in 2010. We talked about grief and how overwhelming it can be.
What's your advice to people who might be in that situation now, thinking they're never going to get through it? They've suffered a loss, whether it's a loss through death or a loss through divorce, or people who just don't think they're going to get through it. What would you tell people?
One, don't be afraid to ask for help and lean on others. I know that's really hard. That was always really hard for me to ask for help. I think I can do it all, but I've had to come to realize that I can't. And let yourself feel. So many of us are afraid to feel. We're afraid to feel sad. We're afraid to feel angry. We're afraid to allow ourselves to feel those negative emotions. But why? We're entitled to those feelings, and they are real. There's days that I would go in my car and scream and yell and shout, and because I didn't want to do it in front of the kids. So that was a safe place. I still cry in front of my kids. I never hid my feelings from my kids about missing him. And I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about that the kids shouldn't be, you shouldn't
burdened.
expose them.
You shouldn't
right.
burden them, yeah.
Yeah, but why not?
They
need to know.
They're already burdened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They need to know it's okay to cry.
You mentioned you never hid your feelings. I did. I would cry at night in bed after I got the kids to bed. Some of it was just relief having made it through the day, but it was grief. So I would cry and say prayers at night when I would go to bed. I was of that mind that, no, I'm going to try to make everything fine. We're going to be, there's only one parent here, but I can do the work of two, just like you were doing. But I tried to hide that from the kids. And I look back now and I say, I wish I'd done it a little bit differently, because I remember kind of saying, well, I never see you cry. Well, it's because I would cry. You just didn't see it. So that was the intention. Your children were among the first recipients of fund grants from Kelly's Angels. Remind me how that went, because that was a few years ago.
We got a letter, I think, I don't remember for sure, but they asked us what the girls would want. Sammy was obsessed with limos at the time.
Yeah.
So all she wanted was a ride in a limo. So, which was really cool. She got picked up on her birthday at home. And then we went and picked her best friend up at summer camp. And the two of them were all dressed up, decked out. We went and got their nails done. So we pull up to a nail salon in Clifton Park in a limo. These two little girls hop out, so everybody was like oohing and eyeing. So they got their nails done. And then we went to daycare and picked up Caitlin and a couple more of Sammy's friends. We drove around, and then we stopped and had dinner at the Japanese steakhouse and got to drive around a little more. And they just thought they were like, the coolest kids on the block. She really, she'll never forget that. And Caitlin was obsessed with Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
So we thought about what would Caitlin love. And I said, you know what? The Great Escape Lodge. She would love to meet Scooby-Doo. So we went up there, and Scooby-Doo came to the room and brought her milk and cookies. And the look on her face to see Scooby-Doo, when she opens the door and Scooby-Doo standing there. I wish I would have had a picture of her face. We have one of her sitting on the bed with Scooby having cookies. But they'll never forget that.
That's the goal of the organization, to bring some smiles to the faces of kids who've endured that sort of thing.
I got the first
Angel Hug. That's right, yeah.
Which was a complete surprise. I guess I posted something on Facebook about the struggle of being a widow.
I remember.
And just the day-to-day and the all the things that I don't think people that haven't experienced it, I don't think they get. When you're a widow or a widower, it's not just about losing your spouse, but it's all the things that go along with it. I never got to see Keith play basketball with the girls, or I couldn't go to Target by myself. The kids always had to come with me. Like, there's so many things, family vacations, all the things that you dream about as growing up about doing as a family, all of that's gone. And you can't get that back. So I posted something to do with that, and I had got a letter in the mail saying that it made Kelly's Angels, you all realize that, you weren't thinking about the person left behind and how hard it is for them. And I just remember crying and being like, wow, this is huge.
It's hard. I mean, that's the I can summarize it in 2 words. It's hard. People have this defined, finite timeline of grief. You're supposed to grieve for a certain time, and then, no, he should be fine, she should be fine.
Get over it.
Yeah, get over it. Exactly. What do you think about that?
It's a bunch of malarkey. It doesn't, the one line I hate is, it gets easier. No, it doesn't. You're not supposed to bury your spouse at a young age. You're not supposed to bury a child. And for anybody to say, just get over it, or you should be over it, move on, has never, I mean, you move forward or you move in a different direction, but I know I will never move on in the true sense. I mean, there'll always be a hole in my soul that can't be replaced by anything.
What do you think Keith thinks about you guys as he looks down? And first of all, do you believe that he does? Do you believe
I do. Yeah, I do believe that he's with us. I hope that he's proud of us. I hope that he's proud of the decisions I made. I know there's a couple of decisions he's probably been like, you dumbass, because that's what he would do. That's what he would do. Anything
else you want to add about the experience that your life of the past decade?
I think the most important thing is just letting yourself feel, let yourself go through it. Don't put a timeline on it. Just experience it as it is.
Yeah.
There's no rush, and it's a lifelong journey. It's, what do they say? It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
It's
for sure.
Thanks for listening to The Upbeat. If you like our show, please leave us a review where you listen to podcasts. If you have topic ideas, email us at theupbeatpod@gmail.com. Be sure to tune in to the next episode of The Upbeat, when I'll be joined by the inspiring Rachel Ray. We'll talk candidly about how the pandemic has impacted the way we live and work, and we'll hear Rachel's advice for staying positive and supporting one another during tough times. We hope you'll join us. Until next time, I'm Mark Mulholland. Take care and stay on The Upbeat.
Special thanks to our media partner, 32 Mile Productions, for their help in recording our episodes. Emily Yan, a graphic designer and art director who invested her time and talent to create our podcast logo. Videographer, editor, and Kelly's Angels board member, Lou Graff. Coordinating producer and Kelly's Angels board member, Jenny Sperano. And all the volunteer Kelly's Angels board members who had a hand in making this podcast possible. Thanks for listening to The Upbeat.